What to do after a miscarriage. First of all, if you've had to go through a miscarriage, I am so sorry for your loss. It is such a devastating and heartbreaking experience to go through. If you have experienced a miscarriage, no matter how far along you were, you have experienced a loss. You want to make sure that you are grieving and allowing your body to process your emotions. Now, those emotions never completely go away. You may learn to process them in a certain way. You may want to open up to someone so that you can let out some of your emotions. I usually recommend opening up to someone who isn't your partner. Of course, you want to talk to your partner also, but your partner is going through their own emotions. So you want to also have another social support network, whether it's your family, your friends, or if you don't feel comfortable talking to them, even talking to a health provider who can give you some coping strategies is a really good idea. Now, I'm going to talk to you about what to do after a miscarriage, because a lot of people still want to try to have a family. They're going through a fertility journey and they're feeling the pressure of time or age, and they want to just try again as soon as possible. So, of course, there are certain things you need to know before trying again. But of course, the emotions are a really, really big factor. So you want to make sure that you are really giving yourself the time and space to grieve. I have a whole other blog and posts and other videos on how to move past the loss and the grief and some suggestions for those. But I want to really outline that that part is important, and it probably will be a process that you go through even when you are trying again. The first thing is you have to know that it might be different depending on how far along you were. Your body will change. It will be different if you were early on in the pregnancy and you were a few weeks along versus someone who miscarried maybe at 11 or 12 weeks and their body was undergoing pregnancy changes until that 11th or 12th week, or maybe 9 weeks, or for someone who was even further along and had a stillbirth. There are changes that happen in your body throughout the pregnancy. And so when you have a miscarriage, your body has to get back to a pre-pregnancy state. Now, if you were early in the pregnancy, usually your hormones will kick back into normal quite quickly. But if you were further along and you had gone some time without a period, you were experiencing changes, you had some nausea, your progesterone was spiked up, you need to make sure that your levels are back to normal. So they're going to have to check your HCG levels and make sure that whatever fetus was there has actually left your body, because even though it was a miscarriage, not everything might have been expelled at the same time. So if you had any bleeding or any clotting, usually that indicates that something has left your body. But if anything was retained or anything was stuck in your body and didn't actually leave your body, that can cause different kinds of issues because your body might think you still have a fetus inside. So you want to make sure that you're getting checked and that you know that your body is ready to go back to a pre-pregnancy state in terms of hormones and physiological functions. The second tip I want to say is get your body checked out. There are so many things that can contribute to miscarriage. Now, if you've had one miscarriage, sometimes it just happens, and unfortunately, it's quite common. But if you've had recurrent miscarriages, that could indicate something is going on in your body. Sometimes it's sperm related, sometimes it's hormone related. So if you have a thyroid issue, sometimes it's circulation related. So getting yourself checked out and really understanding, do you have any clotting problems? Do you have any hormone problems? Are you low in progesterone? These are all different things that could be contributing to miscarriage. Now, sometimes it's genetic and there's nothing you can do about it. You can just be aware that it happens, and many women who have gone through miscarriage can go on to have healthy and successful pregnancies. But you want to see if you have any red flags or any potential problems in your body that you might be able to rectify before trying again to get pregnant. Another tip that I have is really to make sure that you understand it is not your fault. So often women will tell me, could I have lifted something too heavy? Maybe I drank too much coffee. Maybe I was too stressed. Of course, there are some things in the lifestyle that actually contribute to poor blood flow or problems with the pregnancy, but that doesn't mean it was your fault. There are so many things that have to align. We never really know what is the cause. And so although there are things you can do, like stop smoking or stop drinking or what have you, we don't blame anything or any one person, any one thing for a miscarriage. I really want to emphasize it was not your fault. These are things that sometimes we just have no control over. We like to take control over our lifestyle because we know certain things are healthier for us. We know certain things are more likely to contribute to a healthy pregnancy, but we don't know what really caused your miscarriage. And so if you are blaming yourself, if you're worried about lifting something too heavy, or maybe you drank too much of coffee, or you didn't eat enough vegetables, like pay attention to those negative thoughts and understand that it was not your fault. That is not the reason you had the miscarriage. The next thing I want to say is to take steps to prevent whatever issues you can control. And what I mean by that is there are some lifestyle factors that do interfere with a healthy pregnancy. So smoking is one example. Drinking a lot of alcohol is another example. So if there are things that are in your control, while it wasn't your fault and we don't really know yay or nay in terms of pregnancy risk and miscarriage risk, if there are things that you know are going to be less healthy for your body, you want to take steps to move in the right direction. Maybe you got pregnant and you didn't realize, and then you weren't taking vitamins. Not your fault. Totally normal. Happens to a lot of people. But maybe next time, now that you know you're going to be trying again, you want to really make sure you're getting the right nutrients, the right vegetables, the right vitamins, the right minerals. There is some research to show that certain nutrients and vitamins can be really helpful for pregnancy, especially if you have low levels of those vitamins and nutrients. So for example, if you had low vitamin D, that can really contribute to problems with your hormones, your immune system, but in particular, it might also be problematic for fertility. So you want to get your blood work checked. And if you are low in vitamin D, you want to be taking your vitamin D to make sure that your levels get back to normal. Now, if you were further along in your pregnancy before you had the miscarriage, you're going to need to wait till your hormones get back to normal pre-pregnancy state. Sometimes that might take a while. If the progesterone was really high or your HCG was really high, you might need to wait a little bit longer. And if that's the case, often we recommend to wait a whole cycle so you get another period and then you start trying again. Now, sometimes your body is primed and ready to get pregnant again, and so the hormones are more favorable, but oftentimes it depends on what was going on in your body beforehand. So understand that there is no rush. You need to take the time that you need to process your emotions before you're ready to start trying again. Another tip that I think is really important is there's a lot of research to show that the DNA in the sperm is an important contributor to miscarriage risk, in particular if you've had multiple miscarriages. So if you have some time before you're going to be trying again, you want to make sure that the male partner is really working on his health. Now, sometimes people will say, oh, well, my partner checked his sperm and the semen analysis said he was fine. The semen analysis is a good gauge, but it doesn't tell you everything about the sperm. It might tell you how many there are or how they swim, but it doesn't tell you a lot about the DNA, about the quality. So we want to understand that the semen analysis is a good starting point. It's basically like having your own hormones checked or you're understanding your cycle, but it doesn't give you that in-depth analysis. And the research is there to show that the male sperm, the DNA in the male sperm, the quality of the male sperm really contributes not only to fertility, but also miscarriage risk. So you want to make sure that your partner is really on top of his health and making sure that his sperm is in the best shape possible as well. And in this particular case, while sometimes IUI and IVF can be useful because they can pick and choose the best sperm, I do find lifestyle changes, diet changes, nutritional changes, vitamins and supplements can be really beneficial to improve sperm quality and also sperm quantity. I hope this was a helpful video, and if you have gone through miscarriage, please reach out to me if you want to talk, you want to run some ideas by me, you just want to let out some emotion that maybe you don't feel comfortable letting out anywhere else. I have some resources and I really want to help because it can feel so isolating. It can feel like you're the only one who's ever gone through this, that no one else understands what you're going through. But in reality, there are people out there who can support you. And if I can help you, I would be honored to do that. If you like this video, please do hit subscribe so you can be notified of new videos, and give me a like as well because it helps to get other people to watch my videos and hopefully benefit from the information that I'm sharing. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video.